Good evening. This is Meeting the Avance, a News.PH election special. I'm Pia Hontiveros. By tradition, Meeting the Avance is the final campaign rally held on the night immediately before the election. This is where the candidates make their final appeal for the people's support. Our guests tonight make that appeal to you, our viewers. We have with us tonight Mitos Magsaysay of the United Nationalist Alliance, Greco Belgica, Baldomero Falcone, and Christian Señeres of the Democratic Party of the Philippines, Ramon Montaño, Ricardo Penzon, Samson Alcantara of the Social Justice Society, Marvil Llasos, JC De Los Reyes, and Lito David of Ang Kapatiran, and Brother Eddie Villanueva of Bangon Pilipinas. Thank you all for being here tonight. It's Labor Day, so we begin with a question about the laborers and the workers. My first question, and I hope for some brief answers from all of you one by one. If you were to win, what one issue would you press to improve our workers' conditions? Let's start with Mitos Magsaysay.
First, I would like to review the wage hike that the workers have been trying to push in Congress for the longest time. Because I noticed that right off the bat, Congress already says, and the Malacanang already says, hindi pwede. Pwede naman pag-usapan yan eh. Maybe not 125, but definitely we need to talk about how much at least we could increase it.
Thank you. Greco Belgica.
Well, same. My platform of flat tax, ibababa po niya ng buwis. Therefore, bababa po niya ng lahat ng cost sa lahat ng bilihin ng isang worker. Therefore, lalaki po ang cost, ang purchasing power ng kanyang pera at lalaki rin po ang take-home pay niya. Simply by lowering the taxes to 10%. Flat rate, which 43 nations are already doing. Yun
Okay.
po.
Baldomero Falcone, sir.
I would opt for a family living wage for every worker, no? Because that is really needed, probably even increasing the minimum wage for a family head, no? Because giving the rising up of prices, kulang na kulang ang sahod ng mga workers natin. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Christian Señeres.
As a senator, I will push for the passage of the security of tenure law.
General Montaño, sir.
Ganun rin ang atakin ko kagad yung contractual workers law, which made the companies richer while denying the full benefits of their workers. That's the one that we should attack first.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Penzon.
Yeah, kailangan siguro bigyan na ng tunay na pansin yung contractualization. Ito'y nagiging mabigat na problema ng mga manggagawa sapagkat hindi sila nagkakaroon ng security. Nakaka-insecure talaga yung contractualization. After 6 months and 1 day, it should be regular employment.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Alcantara.
Ako po rin ganun. Kasi isa sa mga primary na plataforma ko, yung i-limit yung contractualization. Kasi yung mga batas natin ngayon, inaalaw pa yan, yung contractualization. Kaya sa Articles 106 to 109 of the Labor Code. Kaya lang kailangan natin i-amenda yung Articles 106 to 109 of the Labor Code upang ma-define na kagad at saka very clear kung ano yung contracting out of services.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Attorney Llasos.
Sa akin naman, tatlo. Una sa lahat, yung no to contractualization tayo, no? Pangalawa, legislated wage increase of 125 across the board. And syempre, yung pinaka-importante, job creation.
Thank you, sir. JC De Los Reyes.
Yeah. No to contractualization and ipagpatibay lang yung mga nakasaad talaga sa labor code na kung necessary and desirable, i-regularize. Kailangan higpitan lang natin yan.
Thank you. Lito, David.
Among other things, gusto kong tanggalin yung wage boards, no? Yung regional wage boards, and come up with a different mechanism on how to fix wages.
What would that mechanism be?
It can be done by province. Since wage fixing is actually political, might as well give it to the political leaders with the technical support of the national government agencies, no, providing the data. And of course, I want also, regardless of your status, of whether you are contractual or permanent, no, regular employee, that you would be given mandatorily a stock option in all the companies. Those are some of the things that I want to pursue.
Thank you. Brother Eddie.
I will initiate a serious public hearings inviting all stakeholders in determining the just and fair wages for the workers, and at the same time designed to create the healthiest relationship between workers, management, and business owners, thus accelerating the economic development with economic growth that is inclusive and not exclusive for the few.
There was a common theme about, in all your answers, no to contractualization, but is it really a realistic goal? Mr. Penson and Brother Eddie, you had signed that covenant with the workers earlier today at Mendiola. Is it going to be realistic? Kaya ba talaga yon?
Well, kung merong political will, kaya talaga yan. Ang workers ng manggagawa ng Pilipinas ay isa sa most neglected sector ng ating bansa. If you will check the wage discrepancy versus consumer price index from 1987 to 2010, yung gap nila, instead of removing that gap, lalong naging malawak. Now, our minimum wage is not even sufficient for the NEDA-determined cost of living for one person. What more for one with family? Yung minimum wage natin cannot even support one person to lead a decent life.
Brother Eddie, is there some hope for that? Because today, the President's spokesman was saying that the President is open to more dialogue with the labor groups about this.
Ako naniniwala ako na makukumbinsi natin ang all concerned sectors, halimbawa yung kapitalista, investors, business owners, and the working class and the government. Makukumbinsi natin na it is for the mutual benefits ng lahat na bigyan ng makatao at makatarungang sweldo at economic security ang mga manggagawa. This is also for the good of the capitalist at maiwasan yung corporate greed. Pag naiwasan yung corporate greed, ang buong bansa ang makikinabang. Mawawala na yung danger ng possible violent revolution. Importante lang, magpakatao talaga tayo at talagang isulong natin yung makatarungang treatment sa bawat isa. Walang abuso sa manggagawa, walang abuso sa mga kapitalista. At tingin ko, ang mga Pilipino naman ay merong innate goodness para matanggap yung ganung formula.
Yes, Greco, very briefly.
Pia, hindi mangyayari. Baliktad yung pananaw ng isinusulong nila every time ang pamahalaan makikialam sa isang private na transaksyon. Kasi pagka sinabi mo sa isang kumpanya, ito kailangan nilang sahod, tapos ito kailangan nilang ibibigay sa kanila, para masatisfy yung demands, magbabawas ng tao yan eh. So, imbis na nagbigay ka ng trabaho, nagtanggal ka ng trabaho dun sa mga meron ng trabaho. Pangalawa, hindi ngayon makapagdagdag ng bagong trabahador kasi meron limits. Otherwise, it will close down. So, talagang hustisya at talagang makatao at makatarungan para sa mga kababayan natin o para sa mga laborer, hayaan natin na maging malaya ang mga negosyante to compete for the labor at hand. Ibig sabihin, ako, I can get paid the 10,000 or for 100,000 pesos pero dahil yan lang ino-offer sa akin, stuck ako ngayon dyan. Pero kung magaling ako, may mga nagko-compete, why will I sell my labor for 10,000 if someone's paying me for 100,000? So yun po ang sinasabi ko. Kung gusto natin mag-increase, kung gusto natin talagang tulungan ng taong bayan, bawasan natin yung sobra-sobrang kalta sa sweldong kinikita nila at alisin natin yung sobra-sobrang dagdag sa ginagastos sila through EVAT. Kaya yung sinasabi natin, flat rate tax, bababa ang lahat ng bilihin, lalaki ang kita natin.
Okay, let's move on and let's fast forward to 2016 because when this election is over, all energies, all eyes will be focused on 2016, the presidential elections. At present, there are only two names, give or take, two names that have been floated for president, Mar Rojas, Jojo Binay, possibly even Bongbong Marcos, Bong Revilla, etc. The question is, who would be your choice for presidential candidate to support in 2016? And why him? And if none of the above, then who? Please take note, I didn't ask for who you think will win. I'm asking for who it is you want to support for president. I can guess what Mitos Magsaysay is going to say.
I guess it's very obvious since I'm with Una. It's going to be Jojo Binay.
Okay, Greco?
Ako wala pa ako maisip dahil ang hinahanap ko yung mga tao na magpapataas talaga ng kalidad ng buhay ng tao, magbababa ng lahat ng, o magpapalit ng pamahalaan at magbibigay ng kapangyarihan at puhunan at kapital at pera sa kamay ng tao. Hindi puro gobyerno, puro politiko, maraming pera dito eh.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Falcone?
I would vote for somebody who would know how to increase the existing money supply in the country.
Okay.
It's very much limited as designed by the monetary board's owners, which
All
are
right.
the owners of the commercial and universal banks. No, somebody who can fight against the oligarch families who control the monetary
And who would
system
that be?
in the country.
Is this a case of none of the above? Who would that be?
None of the above.
The above.
None of the above. We're looking for that somebody who is
You're still
bold
looking
enough
for
to fight
someone.
these monsters.
Okay, Christian Senieres?
Yung yung tapong para sa Diyos at bayan. Brother Eddie.
Brother Eddie. Okay. Mr. General Montaño?
None of the above, and no one is coming in.
Okay.
None in the horizon.
Mr. Penson?
Well, none of the above either, but whoever it is that comes out in the horizon in the next 3 years, he's got to be belonging to the people, not to a political dynasty, because we've had enough of political dynasties.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Alcantara?
Basta ayaw ko po ang artista.
Okay.
Saka dynasty.
Okay, no to artista, no to dynasty. Attorney Llasos?
I don't want the vice presidential fight in 2010 to be projected onto the presidential fight in 2016. Because I belong to Kapatiran, I will vote for our party president, JC De Los Reyes.
JC, you're running in 2016 for
well,
president?
No, I'm not. I will adhere to the party stand. The Kapatiran way is to discern and to meet about that and to decide.
okay.
But there is a proposal that right after the 2013 elections, 14 candidates will immediately be chosen to campaign until 2016.
14 candidates
14
of the
candidates,
Angkapatiran.
one president, one vice president, 12 senatorial candidates.
Okay. Lito, David?
Yung tunay na pro-life na kandidato, no?
Sino yun?
Well, it can be any one of us, no? If any one of us make it to ngayong eleksyon ng senador, that is a signal that we can make a bid for 2010. I, for one, will make a bid if I
For
make
2016?
it. Yes,
2016.
for 2016, yes.
Okay, so kailangan manalo muna
Yes,
for the
yes.
Senate. Okay, Brother Eddie?
Ako, ginagalang ko, naniniwala ako lahat ng presidential teambers may kanya-kanyang qualifications. Kaya lang, the next 3 years, makikita ng sambayan ng Pilipino kung sino ang tunay na nagmamalasakit sa bansa dahil yung ipapile naming mga landmark legislations, ang iba nun ay talaga nangangailangan ng tapang at paninindigan para mahangaw sa kahirapan ang masang Pilipino. So makikita natin sa next 3 years, sino ang tunay na nagmamalasakit sa bayan at iyon marahil ang aking susuportahan.
Okay, yung tanong ko naman sa inyo kung tatakbo kayo sa 2016, mamaya na po yun. But our next question is, what is your worst trait? Your worst trait? And this is the time to lay your cards down on the round table. But we're going to get your answers when we come back. This is Meeting the Avance News.PH Election Special. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Meeting the Avance News.PH Election Special. I'm Pia Hontiveros. I left a question hanging before the break, and our 11 senatorial candidates have most probably had the time to think very well about their answers. The question was, what is your worst trait, and that this is the time to lay your cards down on this very round table. So let's begin with, I was going to turn to Mitos Magsaysay. What did you say kanina? Umpisa natin dito. Baliktarin natin. You want time to think about the answer, no? Okay. Brother Eddie.
Well, ang masasabi ko sigurong worst trait, I have great hatred and abhorrence against all forms of injustices in our country. Kaya nga
That's not the worst trait.
kung worst trait yun, ano? Kasi masyado ang aking holy anger against the perpetrators of exploitative system. Kaya nga nakulong tayo ng 2 beses bilang aktivista nung tayo nasa college sa Plon ng UP. So, hindi ko mapigil yung aking damdamin nalabanan ang all forms of evils, wickedness, injustices in our country. Maaring, sabi ng iba, masyadong extremist, ano? Wala akong magagawa. Yun ang nasa puso ko eh.
What do you do pag galit na galit po kayo about it?
Well,
Kasi wala namang masama sa galit, di ba? Yung morality comes into play when you express that.
kung minsan kasi, kapag hindi mo pigil yung holy anger mo, naapektuhan niya yung health mo. Kaya kailangan talaga kalmado tayo. Pero maging realistic tayo. Ng ating bansa ay talagang napakaraming dapat na baguhin, pero hindi naman ito mababago overnight. Kaya natutuwa ako, may mga ganitong forum na nadidiscuss natin ang mga educational factors para magising ang ating bayan at magkaroon ng collective wisdom in pursuing the transformation of the Philippines to be a real great nation.
Okay. Thank you. Lito, David?
It goes both ways, Pia. I'm very passionate, I'm very combative, and uncompromising. Nakikriticize ako dyan madalas, no? Kasi pagdating sa faith, kasi very uncompromising ako. I will go all out to defend my faith, no? Which is one of the reasons why we're running. We want our faith to be placed right in the center of things, in governance for one, no? Kaya minsan nagagalit sa akin yung mga kaalyado namin kasi masyado daw akong palaban, no? It can be seen as a worst trait or it can be seen as my best trait. So whenever it works.
Okay. Thank you. JC De Los Reyes?
I would say, just like Lito, I am radical. I'm uncompromising. And I would do crazy things like run for president just to get the message across. And sometimes my family suffers, my wife, my children. Sometimes I want to stop, but I can't. I love my country, I love my God. But hopefully, some of the next generation kapatiran members will pick up from where we would leave off.
Thank you, JC. Attorney Llasos?
I think, Pia, I'm a very trusting person. No?
That's
I really
your worst
trust
trait?
That's my worst trait. And
Okay.
I end up being, taken advantage of all the time. But yet, at the end of the day, despite how many sins committed against me by people I trust so much, the second worst trait comes in. I'm very forgiving. So it happens all over again. So I think I have to learn how to sometimes, balance trust and at the same time being pragmatic about various matters.
You're too kind.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
that's the third worst
That's the third
trait.
worst trait. Mr. Alcantara, sir?
Kapareho tayo eh. Madali akong magtiwala. Kaya nagkaroon na ako ng mga leksyon dyan. Especially in politics, yung sinabi ng kaibigan mo, yes, yung pala ibig niya sabihin, no.
Yes to what?
Yes, halimbawa.
Bibigyan kayo ng pondo, ganun.
Ikaw naman ang mag-ano sana sa posisyon. Ikaw na. Pagdating na ng panahon, no.
No.
Yun ang mga, kaya I have learned my lesson. From now on, I will trust, but before trusting, verify.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Penson, what is your worst trait?
Well, My worst trait is that I...
You'll have to outdo all their answers. Huh?
No, I don't have to, but my worst trait, since that's the question, and it's a trait, is that I easily fall in love.
Oh, okay. Mabuti naman sinabi nyo na yon.
And I wouldn't call that really a worst trait, but based on the context of the question at this time, siguro yun ang worst trait kasi they mentioned trust, and before you fall in love, you trust first. So you trust, because I was asked that question before, and I said, sometimes you trust too much, so you change that trait because of that trust. But when you trust somebody, you open up, and when you open up, you fall in love sometimes.
Okay.
So
And-
when you fall in love and then your trust is broken, you get heartbroken as well. So I guess that's the trait that is worst in me.
Which of the 4 women in your life broke your trust? No, you don't need to answer that. No,
Thank
unless the audience wants to hear the answer. But wow, no, let's go back to that later. Okay, General Montaño, your worst trait.
I am too frank. I'm too
Frank?
frank. I'm too abrasive. Hindi ko marunong magpasikot-sikot eh. Nasa mind ko, yun ang sasabihin ko. Straight in your face.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Christian Señeres.
I found out my worst trait after I ran for senator. Nabasa ko yung Twitter. Sabi nila, siga daw ako. Yun yung tinitweet ng tao. Pero hindi naman ako siga. Nakakalimutan ko lang ngumiti.
Siga, may mga nagsasabi. Sa Twitter,
Yeah, by the
mayabang,
way-
ang lakas ng dating, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. By the way, if you disagree, yung Twitter ko is at SENERES2013.
Salamat sa plug. Mr. Falcone?
Ang akong worst trait, kanang dali makalimot. I easily forget
Forget.
details. Mo mga ni nga nakalimot ako nga ako tagaliti, daghang amigo sa Samar, nagatubo sa Cebu, og daghang amigo sa Negros og Panay. Ako tunay nga Bisaya.
Bisaya.
Pero usahay makalimot ako bisag di ko maayo mo Tagalog. Daghang salamat.
Thank you, sir. Greco?
I can be very focused, tapos forget things.
That's your worst trait?
Yeah, kasi, you know, when I put my eyes on something, until I finish it, I forget everything around me. So, sometimes, syempre, pag may kasama mo along the way, syempre, ma-offend without you noticing it kasi you're too focused on the goal. So, yun. So, I'm learning to slow down and look at the things around me, not to be too focused on what I want to do.
Okay. Mitos, magsaysay?
Well,
you had
it
enough
can be-
time to think, huh?
Yeah. It can be a positive and it can be a negative. I'm brutally frank. And I really speak my mind. So some people might get offended, but others would rather have someone like me, because at least with me they don't have to second guess.
Okay. Mr. Penson, you were saying, can you say that on the mic? What is that? You were reacting? No, please say it on the mic.
Wow, Vitos, I might fall in love.
No. She's not available. You're on your 4th marriage, or? You're on your 4th marriage or your 5th marriage? No, because you mentioned the women who broke
I'm in
your...
a relationship that's 5 years old.
Okay. So this will be your 5th marriage?
No,
What?
I've only been married 4 times.
Oh, four times nga. So you're on your 5th relationship. Going 5th. Anyway, okay. Balik tayo sa serious. Is there anyone here who really honestly believes that he or she, in this case, will win in this election? And do you mind if we have a show of hands? Oh my God, you're all gonna win. Okay, so that's 11. Okay, that's 11. So isa na lang ang pwede manalo kasi 12 lang. Talagang bilib na bilib kayo sa inyong mga sarili. Dapat, no? Or else, what are you doing here? So, then what are the surveys saying? Mali ba yung mga survey? Yes, mali. Nagkakamali. Nagkakamali ang Pulse Asia at ang Social Weather Stations at lahat ng survey. False Asia. Okay. Mitos Magsaysay, I wanted to ask you, did you, all 9 candidates of UNA, feel that you were all given the same attention, the same energy and funding as the children of the so-called Three Kings. So I refer to J.V. Ejercito, the son of former President Erap, Nancy Binay, daughter of Vice President Jojo Binay, and Jack Enrile, son of Senate President Enrile.
Actually, when they got us in UNA, they already told us the minimum and what they can only help us with. So whatever we come out with in our campaign, from the start, we already knew, hanggang dito lang tayo sa una, yung the rest, kayo nang bahala dyan. So, it's the bahala na dyan that changes that's the variable depending on who the candidate is.
Okay, so there is no like favoritism that yung tatlo ang, you know,
No, it just so happened that probably they have more resources than we do. And I can't complain because if they really did have it, then they can use it. It's just the reality of things.
Okay. Does UNA really believe that there could be fraud in this election? A few days ago, you know, there was talk about worries about like the power situation in Mindanao, that this could impact on the election.
Well, definitely, if there's a 5 to 8 hour blackout in Mindanao, it's not only Mindanao that has blackouts, even Visayas and parts of Luzon. Of course, definitely, it's not only UNA will be apprehensive. The whole country will be apprehensive because you're not sure whether the real vote of the people will really be reflected on election day. And it's
Okay.
not only the senatorial candidates who should be worried, it's also the local candidates who should be worried kasi baka ma-disenfranchise yung mga botante nila kung may blackout at walang backup generators ang COMELEC.
Okay. Earlier, I asked, you know, if we could have a show of hands as to who believes that they're going to win, and you all, of course, raised your hands. So, I mean, if you didn't, then you know people would wonder what are you doing here. So now the question is, if you lose, what will you do? So I wanted to start with Brother Eddie. Brother Eddie, you ran for president twice, 2004. You got 1.9 million votes, 2010, 916,000 votes. If you lose in this election, will you run again in 2016?
Alam mo, ang faith ko kasi, may reasonable faith akong mananalo ko eh. Bakit? Yung dalawang presidential candidates na kasama ko, mababa ang boto sa akin. Pero ang lakas ng kanilang determination to run for senator today. Pangalawa, yung plataforma de gobyerno na dadalhin ko sa Senado, kailangan ng bansa. And I believe the Filipino people now are ready for genuine change. Pangatlo, ang mga nagtaas sa akin ng kamay at sumusuporta at nag-endorse, former President Ramos, FBR, former President Estrada, si Kamao Pambansa, si Manny Pacquiao. Pagkatapos sa mga different organizations, ang lakas, Christian Muslim Democrats, officially, ako in-endorse. Ang TUCP, kahapon, in-endorse ako. At lahat ng puntahan naming mga lugar, 46 provinces, ang iinit ng reception sa amin. Nagtataka nga lang ako, bakit ako yung number 1 lang sa rating o number 2 doon sa 7-Eleven, 800 chain of stores sa buong Pilipinas, ano?
Yes, yes.
Ang respondents nito ay buong bansa, ano? Pero doon sa yung mga popular na survey company, hindi kasi ako nag-subscribe, no? Alam mo na, gusto ko lang patunayan, pwedeng manalo kahit wala kang pera kung meron kang tunay na prinsipyo at pagmamahal sa bayan.
Okay. So, well, if you win or if you lose, will you run in 2016 for higher office?
Alam
again?
mo, sa akin wala.
Would you want to run
Ako
for
kasi,
president
yung
again?
presidency destiny yan eh. At kapag nagkaroon ng collective wisdom ng Filipino people, either for good or for bad, wala tayong magagawa. Destiny nga yan. Sa akin, wala naman akong personal ambition sa politika. Ano ba naman ang kailangan ko? Mga presidente at mga political leaders, nagpupunta sa bahay ko, sa office ko, nakipagkaibigan. Kaya lang, pag mahal mo ang bansa mo, bilang political economist, social activist dati, alam ko kasi yung ugat ng problema eh. Kaya sa akin, kasalanan malaki. Pag hindi natin tinanggap yung sinabi ni Edmund Burke, the famous statement of Edmund Burke, for what is necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. Alam mo ba na ito pala ay biblical? James 4:17, if you know the good things to do, and you don't do, you sin. Kaya, ginagawa ko itong pagtakbo na ito, hindi para sa sarili ko eh. Mahal ko lang ang plano ng Diyos sa bansa, mahal ko ang sambayan ng Pilipino. Bago tayo tumanda at mag-retire, walang susurod sa atin na pinabayaan natin ang ating bansa noong ating kapanahunan.
Thank you, sir. Lito David, this is your second attempt at the Senate, in a run for the Senate. If you lose, will you run again in 2016?
I've always maintained that what Kapatiran is doing is a mission. No? Meron kaming mensahe na gusto namin iparating sa buong sambayanan. Hindi ito yung tipong pag natalo ka, hindi tinanggap yung pag-aalay mo ng iyong sarili doon sa trabaho na yan, hihinto ka na. Tuloy-tuloy lang po ito. No? Hanggat hindi namin nakikita na nagkaroon na ng talagang pagbabago doon sa mensahe na sinasabi namin sa taong bayan. At gusto ko lang bigyan ng emphasis sa Pia. Walang kandidatong natatalo. Walang kandidatong natatalo. Kasi pagka hindi tinanggap yung aming pag-aalay, patuloy yung aming buhay. Magtatrabaho kami, kakain kami, mabubuhay namin yung aming pamilya. Ang kawawa, ang natatalo, ang taong bayan. Every time na magkakamali ng pagpili, and for the longest time, mukhang mali ang napipili nating mga mamumuno sa ating bayan. Kaya patuloy ang kahirapan ng ating mga mamamayan, patuloy ang gutom, patuloy ang kawalan ng edukasyon, patuloy ang walang pabahay, etc. No? Patuloy ang kahirapan. Yun ang talo, yung taong bayan na nagkakamali ng pagpili at hindi yung kandidato.
So sino yung maling napili na nasa Senado ngayon?
Ay, marami.
Marami.
Kapag uusapan natin dito, aabutin tayo ng bukas. Kasi alam mo naman na insider ako ng di ba, ng Senado.
Yes.
So alam
You
ko
would know.
alam ko yung lahat ng kalokohan na nangyari doon, kung sino bang political dynasty yung involved, kung bakit ang taas ng presyo ng kuryente. Sinong political dynasty yung involved na itinago sa Cayman Islands yung Coco Levy funds, no? Sino ba itong mga tao na hanggang ngayon ay hindi lumalabas yung pera ng revolusyon, no? Yung mga ganyan tipo, no? Kaya kung tatanungin mo ako diyan, baka bukas bukas pa tayo matapos sa dami ng nalalaman ko.
Sige, we'll have you back na lang. Thank you. JC De Los Reyes, you ran for president and lost in 2010. If you lose in this election, what position will you aim for in 2016?
I really don't know. If I lose in this election, I probably would... My family is in Brazil, my wife and children, and I want to see them. Either they come here or I go there. But as a political missionary, tuloy-tuloy lang dapat nga ngayong...
Sorry, you said political missionary?
Yeah, if there are missionaries who preach the gospel in the mountains, there should be warriors in the political arena, fighting it out, pushing the platform, pushing the principles. So, dapat nga these elections, hindi na nga ako lalaban kasi pagod na pagod ako. Kami nila Brother Eddie last 2010. Pero hiniram lang ng partido yung katawan ko, yung bibig ko, para mas lalo pang itulak yung prinsipyo at plataforma ng Kapatiran Party. I'm a willing vessel. And I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but one thing's for sure, I got inspiration from God and my love for my country.
JC, when you guested on the show March 13,
Yes.
remember you were saying, you practically said that you felt that you would lose, no?
Yes.
And I remember also in
I did.
2010, this was a forum in Makati, like 2.5 months before the elections. You practically conceded to and endorsed Noynoy Aquino
Yes.
at the time.
I
So
didn't
parang-
endorse Noynoy
Huh?
that time. I didn't endorse Noynoy.
Yeah, well, that's
Yes.
why I say practically. But then medyo kumambyo ka after the
Yes.
forum, no? Pero parang ang tanong kasi dito, you keep running
Yes.
and yet, yun nga, no, yung sinasabi mo, I feel like I'm going to lose or...
Yeah.
So
No.
why? So that's
Yeah.
why it's interesting when you said kanina, this is a political mission.
Yeah, kanina I raised my hand because iba na yung laban ngayon. Umiikot kami all over the country. Kami nila Marwil came from Tagbilaran, we came from Cebu. Iba na. We could see a groundswell.
Groundswell
And,
for what?
For
Can you-
Kapatiran candidates in the Catholic vote. And there are people campaigning for us unrelentingly. So I raised my hand.
Okay, thank you. Attorney Dasos?
I will run for the papacy in the next conclave. I have better chances of winning. But kidding aside, winning in this
Teka
election.
muna, when is the next conclave?
I don't know. Maybe if Pope Francis retires, there will be
Okay.
two Pope Emeritus. No? So, okay. Anyway, for me, winning is a bonus to deliver the message across to the people, especially the need for hope, inspiration for the young. I think this early, I'm already claiming victory. I've already won. So, so far, I have no ambition for 2016. Even running in this election, I did not plan for this. I did not prepare for this. Even the endorsements I'm getting, no? So, I think everything has been very serendipitous. And if I win in this election, I think it is destined for me to be a senator of this republic.
Well, that sounds wonderful. Winning's a bonus. Sounds good. Mr. Alcantara, what would you do if you lose?
Well, that assuming that I will lose.
Yes.
Kasi sa
assuming.
tingin ko ako'y mananalo kasi number 1 sa balota.
Okay.
Palaging sinasabi natin, kasi siyempre yung mga boboto dyan, hindi naman lang isa o dalawa o tatlo iboboto. Meron silang favorites. Pero pagkatapos, babalik sila sa number 1. O kaya nagsisimula sila number 1. Gusto nila yung sa ilalim, yung number 33. Pero sasabihin nila, punta naman ako sa number 1. Alcantara yun. Kaya, despite yung mga results ng survey, sa tingin ko po, ako'y mananalo. At saka, kung hindi naman manalo, sasabihin natin, the fight has just begun.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Penson, what will you do if you lose?
If I lose, I'll enjoy life. But meantime, I don't see any reason how that can happen because at least because of the advocacy we started, a lot of people are claiming it, they started it, but nobody brought it to the awareness of the Filipino people that we need to stop political dynasties this year, this election. We attained that, we achieved that goal, and I think it's only a matter of them associating or people trying to disassociate the anti-political dynasty advocacy from us. But I think it will eventually get the recollection of the people that it was Penson that brought political dynasty to the forefront of this election.
So kahit papaano, parang mission accomplished.
Yes.
Winning is a bonus.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. General Montaño, you ran for mayor of Makati, for Makati once, for Congress twice. And had you not withdrawn in 2004, this would be your second attempt at the Senate. So, if you don't make it, will you run again in 2016?
I don't think that I would lose.
Okay.
So
Nobody's gonna
if
lose. Yeah.
the counting goes against me, I'll file a protest.
Really? You're serious, sir?
Yeah, that's the democratic way, di ba?
Uh-huh.
I'll file a protest.
Okay. You will file a protest and say
Or a recount. Recount.
Nanandaya ang
Baka
PICOS machine.
matanggal natin yung nasa puwit.
Sasabihin nyo, sir, yung nandaya yung PICOS machine. Ganon. Ganon po ba yon? Kasi automated na po dahil. Yeah.
Kasama yan.
Aha. Okay. Christian Señeres, if you lose this 2013, balik Kongreso ka ba by 2016?
Balik Kongreso?
Yeah.
First of
The
all,
lower house.
may I use this time to answer your previous question.
Okay.
Hindi naman lahat na survey hindi totoo. May isang survey doon. May isang survey na tama.
Ano yun?
Sa survey na yun, number 4 po ako, number 3 Falcone, and number 1 Greco Bellica. Yun po yung tunay na survey.
What survey is that?
Anong survey yan? DZUP.
DZUP.
And yun po, kita po natin. Kagaya ng sabi ni
This
Brother...
is the radio station
That's
of
right.
UP
Kagaya po ng
Diliman.
7-Eleven, nakita po natin, actual, bumoboto yung mga tao. Ito rin po, actual, bumoboto yung tao. Ito mga surveys that you read about in the newspapers.
Okay.
Has anyone in this room been asked by SWS or Pulse Asia kung sinong iboboto nyo? Sino sa inyo? Wala. So, may naniniwala ba sa SWS or Pulse Asia? Di wala.
Okay. So, you will win this 2013.
I think so, for the same reason as the groundswell mentioned by
Okay.
our Kapatiran brothers.
Okay. Mr. Falcone, you filed your certificate of candidacy for vice president in 2010 but were disqualified, correct? Will you run again in 2016 if you don't make it now?
I think I will win this time. Mauning mga rasona. Number one, ako ray Bisaya. I mean, well, of course, Mon is there, no? Pero bugtong Bisaya, nga proud kayo nga Bisaya. Number two, I am supported by the guardians. I am a guardian and there are close to 2 million guardians in the country. Number three, I truly represent the poor. Not only in lip service but in actual practice, no?
Okay.
We have given livelihood to more than 1,000 Aitas who were displaced by Mount Pinatubo. And we are right now in the midst of negotiation for the transfer of Metro Manila's squatters to a property we have bought in Botolan, 2,300 hectares.
Botolan, Zambales.
Botolan, Zambales, Barangay Bilyar. No? And after the elections, we will start transferring these people, giving them livelihood, magnetizing iron sand, wherein they can earn more than minimum wage. And
Okay.
giving them houses and lots through the help of Pag-ibig commissioner or head.
Okay. Yes, sir. I
Binay.
understand what you're saying. But the question is, if you lose, will you run in 2016 for the Senate again?
Of course, I will.
You will?
To make sure that the programs for the poor that we have envisioned will really happen. And I want, if I do not make it, I will continue teaching the cooperatives and NGOs in the country the art and skill of securitization, which is bringing into the country global funds to establish new businesses and create millions of jobs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Greco, Belica, have you thought of running for Congress first? And corollary to that, no, if you lose this 2013, will you run for Congress first 2016?
Yes, I thought of running for Congress, but I didn't run for Congress. Primarily because yung aking pong pinopropose ay hindi uusad sa Congress dahil ang mga hindi administration measures sa Congress ay binabaon po sa committee. Pero yung mga ganitong proposal sa pagpapababa ng buwis ay naipapasa na mabilis sa Senado dahil napag-uusapan po na maigi. So if I don't make it this term, I think I will have a better chance next election. Of course, I will run again because now I know what not to do to win. Ma'am, tsaka alam niyo po, sa lahat ng kandidato, ako ang pinakabata. Kumbaga sa puno, marami pa ako ibubunga. Kaya sa ating mga konstituente, marami pa silang pakikinabangan sa akin.
Akala ko sasabihin mo, ako yung pinakagwapo. Parang gano'n. Hindi, may mga ganun sa Twitter. Yun ang mga observations sa kanya. Congresswoman Magsaysay, what will you do if you don't win? Are you going to run 2016 again?
I think I leave my life and my political career to my faith in God. Because, you know, when I ran in 2004, I'm so used to going up against Goliaths. And, you know, I was a nobody in 2004, yet I won landslide in my district. And, you know, even in my...
A nobody with a name like that.
But, you know, in Olongapo, nobody knew me at all. And as I go through my political career, I've also been up against a lot of Goliaths also.
Okay.
But, you know, somehow, you know, I get the strength to fight it out even if I'm alone in Congress. And, you know, and I'm still standing. And it's not for someone like me to be in a political party like UNA, wherein, you know, they could have gotten other candidates instead of me. Just to be chosen there is already good enough. And I think that whatever happens this 2013, it's usually 100%, for me it's 90% destiny, 10% luck. So if it's my destiny to be senator in 2013, then so be it. But I will never question what is in store for me. I will always accept what is in store for me.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Congresswoman Magsaysay. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about social media. No, you're all on Twitter, right? I mean, you know you're on Twitter. Sir, you know you're on Twitter, Jen Montaño. Yes, you do. You know you're on Twitter, right? Huh? Okay, anyway, we'll get to that in a while. But, okay, two questions here about social media. How many followers do you have on Twitter? No, we're talking about Twitter. And tell us if social media helped or hindered your campaign. So, Brother Eddie,
The fact na ayon sa report, lagi akong kasama sa top 1 or 2 sa social media, doon sa Facebook, very confident ako na itong social networking ay makakatulong in educating our people that in voting or choosing their leaders, they should not be swayed by ratings. They should have a duty to scrutinize the qualifications of the candidates. Katulad sa Singapore, na-tweet ko ito ata minsan no? Sa Singapore, 4 na debate lang ang mga kandidato. Public. So, doon sa debate na yon, malalaman ang qualifications ng kandidato, malalaman ang background, ang track record, competence, at malalaman yung platform of government. Pagkatapos doon, botohan na. Dito sa atin, gagastos ka ng dandang milyon, ano? Yung 500,000 per 30 second there. Hindi ko malaman ba't pinayagan to Democracy is becoming a farce. Kung meron kang anak na binigyan mo ng the best education, pagmamahal sa Diyos at sa bayan, at gustong bago tumanda't mamatay ay magkaroon ng legacy na may magawa naman siya magandang bagay sa kanyang bansa bago siya tumanda't mamatay, at gusto yung tumakbong senador, pag wala kang 500,000 per 30 second na commercial TV, ano laban mo?
okay.
Kaya
What
sa
are you
akin,
saying,
this
Brother
is
Eddie?
undemocratic.
Yeah. So, social media democratizes
Well,
democratize things
at least
for us.
nakakompensate, libre yun
Yes.
Walang bayad yung social
Yeah.
media.
Oo.
So at least yung mga non-moneyed candidates na ang passion lang ay makapaglingkod sa bayan, may laban-laban, ano?
So, do you know how many followers you have on Twitter?
Ano yan?
Do you know how many followers you have on Twitter?
Well, kamakailan lang ako siguro. Wala pa isang taon ako natuto ng tweeting, no?
Kayo po mismo nagtitweet?
Oo.
Okay.
Kaya hindi naman ako madalas mag-tweet dahil naging very busy ako. Pag ako nata-traffic sa traffic,
Oo.
doon ako nag-tweet.
Okay.
At,
You have 12,590 followers.
Hindi ko pa na-check, no?
Na-check ko na kanina ho.
Ilan?
12,590. Okay. Okay. Lito, David. How many followers do you have, and do you think social media helped or hindered your campaign?
Kaunting-kaunti lang yung sa Twitter kasi hindi ko naman siya ginagamit talaga. No?
Oo nga, hindi ka halos
Kung
nagtitweet
active
eh.
ako, I'm sure dadami yan.
Yes, that's true.
Yung sa akin, I don't use social media to promote myself no, sa campaign. What I'm promoting actually is the thoughts that I have. Hindi yung sarili kong pagkandidato, kundi yung ano yung nasa isip ko na merong matututunan yung babasa ng mensahe ko. Yun ang mas importante sa akin. So
what medium? If not social media, what medium? I mean, apart from forums,
some of the
forums
things
again.
na ginagamit ng marami dun sa aming nagkakampanya para sa amin, ang gagaling dun. No? Yung mga thoughts na inilalagay ko doon, yun ang kinakuha nila at sinasabog din nila sa iba. Kumbaga, may natututunan yung no. Kasi
Okay.
yung kampanya hindi lang naman to para para tayo i-promote yung sarili natin at maupo no kung mananalo. Ang kampanya ay isang pamamaraan na bigyan natin ng edukasyon din no yung ating mga kababayan. Para naman pag sila na ngayon na magkaroon ng pagkakataong tumakbo, meron silang natutunan na maaari din nilang ibahagi sa iba.
I like that, yes. Campaigns should educate. Thank you. JC De Los Reyes, did social media help or hinder your campaign?
It did, but I'm not...
It helped.
It helped
Yeah.
because I post a lot in Facebook, not Twitter.
Okay.
I don't know how many followers I have in Twitter, but my Facebook is linked with Twitter. And my Facebook has about 5,000 friends, 1,400 followers. And I have a page which has 1,400
Likes.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Something like that.
And you have 138 followers on Twitter. So if you post more on Twitter, dadami yung followers.
Okay.
Ganun yun. Okay, so it helped in a way.
Yes,
no?
I
No.
believe so. I
It
believe
gets the
so.
message out
Yes.
of the
Yes.
political mission. Okay, thank you. Attorney Llasos?
I think I'm the third youngest candidate, so generation ko na to, no?
Okay.
So ako, I vlog, I tweet, I have a Facebook account, at nakatulong Sa isang survey sa Philippine Senatoriable sa Facebook, hindi ako nalalaglag sa ika-6. So 4, 3, 4, 5, 6 yan lagi.
Okay.
At saka sa ibang mga online surveys, lagi akong nagpi-place. Maging sa PEP, number 13 ako, siguro pumasok na ako ngayon sa number 12. Yung Twitter ko active because I report kung nasan ako or minsan naman yung mga blog articles ko,
Doon nakalink.
inililink ko doon.
Okay.
Sa Facebook yata mas marami akong picture kesa friends, no?
Yeah.
So lagay ako ng lagay ng picture. So nakakatulong. At in fact sa mga TV debates, no, there are people who have seen me perform on televised debates. Hindi ako nila kilala. What they do, they search me on Facebook and then they leave the message, "Sir, hindi kita kilala. Napanood kita sa debate, napakagaling mo, iboboto kita." So nakakatulong talaga.
Yes, okay. But I have one question. Why is your Twitter handle or your Twitter name, I love Marwil Obi? It's so showbiz.
Yang nga eh. Kasi talagang showbiz.
Yang nga eh.
Actually, di ba dati yung mga artista hilig niya, I love Rufa G, yung mga
Yes,
ganon. Hindi ko naman yung ginamit sa pagtakbo, no? Kasi wala nga akong kabalak-balak. Even mga newscasters, pag sinasabi ko yung ganong Twitter handle ko, natatawa sila. Yung I love Marwil is my name and OP for the Order of Preachers, which I belong as a consecrated secular Dominican.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Alcantara, does social media help or hinder your campaign?
Very helpful.
Kayo po mismo nagtitweet?
Ako minsan.
Minsan?
Pero meron din akong mga
Sine-check nyo yung followers nyo?
tinitignan ko kasi most of them are my students.
Okay.
At saka na-discover ko dito sa Facebook, ang dami palang Alcantara throughout the Philippines. Maraming Alcantara.
Marami kayong kamag-anak.
Marami
Naboboto
at
sa inyo.
Sigurado yun.
Sigurado yan. Dapat
At saka,
lang.
meron akong 250 on Twitter. Saka 1,300 likes
250?
sa Twitter.
250 followers?
Oo.
Okay.
And 1,300 likes on Facebook. Ganon.
Okay.
Ay, konti pa lang. Kaya lang, sa tingin ko naman, ako naman, kasama na rin nila. Sila may Facebook lahat. Di lahat tayo author ngayon.
Kaya lahat kayo panalo, di ba?
Panalo
okay.
tayo.
Mr. Penson, let's hurry things up a bit. Mr. Penson?
Well, I don't actually use Twitter. I haven't tried it. I'm on Facebook. I have a personal account and a Ricardo Penson page, which I use.
But there is a
every
Twitter
now and
account in your name.
Maybe the campaign office
The campaign.
opened it.
Okay. General Montaño.
I have a Facebook account, and it's full of montaños. It's a clan. It's a clan.
But you have a
Facebook.
Twitter account, hindi po ba?
I don't know.
You don't know. Sir, now you know.
I have.
Yes. Montaño 2013. May naglagay
maybe
para sa
someone posted it there.
Yes.
Hindi ko alam.
Yeah, okay. Christian Sanyeres? Help
Only
or
to
hinder?
open the Twitter account to follow yung mga ibang nagtitweet. And yun nga, Senares 2013, obvious, para lang dito sa campaign. I have about 150 plus, so I don't remember exactly. Last time I checked, mga nasa ganun.
158.
158?
158.
Yeah. Nadagdagan, konti, since kanina.
Yes.
I mostly retweet if you notice.
Yes,
I
I
don't
noticed.
really tweet. Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Falcone?
DBP means Digital People Power, no? And I have a war room wherein every night there are volunteers, IT volunteers, no? So I really don't know what's the number of my followers.
Okay. But so you don't tweet yourself?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't know.
Greco, ikaw mismo nagtitweet ka, di ba?
Yeah,
Bata ka
I
naman.
I do my
Yeah.
tweeting personally. I update my. That's how I use my. I use Twitter to communicate my ideas and current events sa akin. And I think I have now 600 followers from 35 when the campaign
Now?
started.
600? Well, 592 as of 7 o'clock tonight.
Well, as
Kasi-
of right now, it's 600.
600? Okay,
Not
nadagdagan.
very- Yeah.
Plus 8. Okay.
When I started the campaign, I had 35. Then I realized na okay on Twitter, so I've been tweeting for 1 month, tuloy-tuloy. Now I have 600 followers. And yes, Facebook has helped a lot. Kasi I have a page that has 40,000 followers or 40,000 members. And then my personal page has 5,000 members. And then I have 2,000 on my senatorial page. And yun, mabilis pong marami ako nakikilala, maraming sulat na dumarating sa akin, maraming compliments na pumapasok po sa amin through Twitter. Yeah. So,
Thank you. Congresswoman Magsaysay.
Yeah, I have both Facebook and Twitter, and my Twitter is connected to my Facebook. But I could have had more followers, except that when the RH bill was being heavily debated on, there were a lot of people who were, they were so passionate for pro-RH that, they took it personally and they were bashing me on Twitter. So I felt that I will not allow anyone to disrespect me in any forum. So the simple solution is just to block.
Block, yeah.
At least,
Or
I
sometimes
don't...
you would engage also, di ba?
Yeah, I used to,
sumasagot
but
kayo.
I said, it's useless to be engaging in them. They already have their set mind on RH, and so do I. So I said the best solution is just to block those who are disrespectful.
Right,
But
right.
those who are respectful using Facebook and Twitter, I don't block them. Because I always believe that we should respect each other's opinion.
Right.
And but lately I have not been very active. I'm not very active on Twitter and Facebook anymore because I do it personally. So I answer the accounts personally. So if I'm not too active, that means I'm just busy campaigning.
Okay. My next question, this is the second to the last question before we say goodbye to all of you and say goodnight. Do any of you have hidden talents that you would much rather keep hidden? Mitos?
Marwell could impersonate.
Wait, we'll get to Marvel in a while. Hindi ka makakaligtas. Okay. Any hidden talent? Any talent?
And I guess it's my family who'll know what my talent is, especially my husband, siguro.
Like what?
That's for my husband.
Yeah, okay. Greco?
I can do a lot of things. I'm good at arts. I'm good at sports. I'm good in expounding ideas. So yeah, maraming ginagawa.
Okay. Mr. Falcone?
I play basketball and I play the piano.
Sayang, no? Wala tayong piano ngayon, no?
Buti nga.
Christian Senieres?
Boxing.
Boxing? Oh my God. Okay. Tabi tayo dito. General Montaño?
Singing.
Singing. One line? Do you have a nice voice?
Matud nila, ako dili angay, nga magmanggad sa imong gugma.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Penson. You have a hidden talent, sir, that you would like to
I
share?
used to race cars. I fly airplanes, and I'm learning to fly a helicopter now.
Oh my, okay. Mr. Alcantara?
Singing old songs.
Old songs. Naku, sample na naman to. Okay.
Sample? Ang tangi kong pag-ibig ay minsan lamang.
Aba.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Attorney Liasos, yes?
You know my hidden talent?
Mimicry?
Yes, right.
Yes.
Hello? Hello, Garcia. Am I going to win by more than 1 million?
Who else can you imitate?
From Ferdinand Marcos down to the present president.
The present. Who do we want to hear? Noy Noy, no? Noy Noy muna.
Walang pagbabago.
Marcos.
My dear countrymen, as of the 21st day of September,
Oh my God. FVR.
Kaya ngayong Pasko, we should always look forward to the Philippines 2000.
And of course, hindi kumpleto ang gabi kung walang erap, di ba? Okay.
Yung mga walang bahay, ibabahay ko.
Thank you very much, JC. I wonder how many votes that will get you, Marwil. JC?
I really don't have a talent, but I just jog when I'm stressed. That's
Oh.
probably it.
Okay, Lito David.
I do some poetry.
Poetry?
Oo, haiku, yung traditional form, etc. And of course, I sing. I sing when I feel like singing, but I won't sing right now because I don't feel like singing.
Okay, that's a warning to us. Okay, Brother Eddie.
Ako simple lang, combination ng sports. Halimbawa, bilyar at tsaka yung table tennis, basketball, bicycle. At mag-research ng mga great men and women in history para yung tinuturuan ko sa Institute of Leadership ay ma-adapt nila yung talagang traits and characters ng genuine leaders in history. So, more or less, yun ang aking hobby.
Okay, thank you, Brother Eddie. We end tonight with what a meeting the Avance is for, your brief and final pitch to the viewers. Let's begin with Congresswoman Magsaysay.
Well, if they want a seasoned legislator who knows her job as a member of the House of Representatives and soon to be the Senate, if they want someone who has served for 9 years, has never been involved in any anomaly or graft and corruption issue, has been a voted most outstanding congressman for 6 consecutive years, has gotten the highest award given to a congressman, the Emeritus Hall of Fame, and who's not afraid to speak out, regardless of who is in the administration, I think they should vote for number 23, Mitos Magsaysay for the Senate.
Thank you. Greco, Gallica?
Kung gusto nila ng pagbabago, bumoto po ng bago. Si Greco Bellica po ang pinakabatang kandidato na para senador this coming election. Kung ako po ay mananalo, ang unang-una kong gagawin, ibababa ko po ang buwis. Flat rate tax of not more than 10% of income. Bababa ang lahat ng presyo ng bilihin, lalaki po ang kita natin. Pangalawa, yung bilyon-bilyon, o 100 bilyong mahigit na pork barrel fund, i-convert po natin yan sa isang tuition fee voucher fund.
Okay. All right.
Pangatlo, yung CCT, after it is finished, dodoblehin po natin yan at kukunin natin yan sa mga lump sum funds ng pamahalaan na dinidiscretion lang ng executive at gagawin na lang po natin yung capital business fund para sa lahat ng mga pamilya, para hindi lang natin sila itatawid sa hirap, para mahirap pa rin, tutulungan pa natin sila makatindig sa kanilang mga
Okay.
Salamat po.
Thank you. A reminder, a brief, very brief, short final pitch. Sir?
Botohi si Bal Cordero Falcone, ang bugtong Bisaya nga kandidato. Kitang taga-Samar, Leyte, Bohol, Cebu, Negros ug Panay. Botohi si Bal Falcone. Botohi sad siya kay siya lang ang guardian nga kandidato. Og ang mga kabus, tagaan natog paglaom og pag-asa aron makaahon sa kalisod. I know how to increase the money supply in the country, which is the real cause for our worsening poverty.
Okay.
I can do this through securitization, which is a skill of bringing global funds into the country to establish new projects and create millions of jobs. Let's do this within our lifetime, within the next 3 years, because Pinoy has not done anything to solve the worsening poverty situation in the country.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Christian Senyeres?
Kita po ng selection na to, dalawang klase pa yung mga tumatakbo. May mga kandidato at may mga kandidati.
Ano yung kandidati?
Yung mga lumang pangalan, lumang apelido. With exception Mitos Magsay.
Cambio ka agad.
Yeah, mga ano po, sige, ibang definition po, yung mga hindi masyado kilala, tsaka yung mga nakakasuka. Or kaya, subukan lang po natin ng mga bagong kandidato. Yun po yung lagi po nang sinasabi. Para lang may iba. Baka may mangyari na maganda. Ako po, pakilala po ulit, Christian Senyeres, number 29 sa balota.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Christian. General Montaño?
If you vote for me to be a senator, it's like electing yourself to the Senate. The voters will be my boss, real boss. They will be one to tell me what to do in the Senate, what to fight for in the Senate, what to do for all of you who will vote for me. You will be the one to dictate what will be your program for me to fight for. and I think I will going to fight for. I give it all, my all, to the limit of human endurance. Salamat.
Thank you, General Montaño. Mr. Penson?
Yes, mga kababayan, panahon na itong taon na ito para bawiin natin ang kapangyarihan ng Pilipinas. Pag hindi natin naisugpo ang political dynasties, itong taon na ito, pipili na lang tayo kung sinong dynasty mamumuno sa atin sa 2016. Kaya ang panawagan ko po sa inyo, mag-isip na kayo ng isa pang kandidato para sa Senado. 11 na po kami dito. Huwag niyo kakalimutan, number 26 po, Penson sa Senado.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Alcantara?
Ako po ay presidente ng Social Justice Society at nagsusulong ng tunay na social justice dito sa Pilipinas. Ako ay isang alternatibo para sa Senado. Yun nga sinasabi ng aking tarpaulin, alternatibo para sa Senado upang hindi lang yung mga mag-ama, magkapatid, o kaya mga magkakamag-anak ang nandun sa Senado. Kaya bigyan nyo naman ako ng pagkakataon po na maging senador. Madali naman akong tandaan. Yung aking, kung nakalimutan yung first name ko, Samsung Alcantara. At saka number 1 sa balota. Salamat po.
Thank you, sir. Attorney Llasos?
Maray na banggi sa Indogabos, ako po tabi si Attorney Marwilyaso sarong Urago na Bicolano. Bagong pangalan, bagong pukha, bagong pag-asa. Kung gusto po natin ang bayan ay nasa ayos, dapat liyasos. Madali po ang solusyon. 20-20 lang ho. 20-20 tayong lahat. Numero 20 sa balota.
Thank you, sir. JC de los Reyes?
Anyway, dati na po akong tumakbo sa pagkapangulo, ngunit natalo. Lumalaban ulit po ako para isulong yung prinsipyo ng Kapatiran Party. Dekada na hindi gumagana yung gobyerno para sa mamamayan. Kailangan po bago, bata at responsable at may pananagutang partido political. So JC de los Reyes po, number 10 sa balota. Salamat.
Thank you, JC. Dito, David?
Simple lang po yung aking paninindigan. Naniniwala ako na magkakaroon lamang ng tunay na pagbabago kung yung ating pagiging Kristiyano ay dadalin natin sa lahat ng ating gagawin, lalong-lalo na sa pamumuno sa ating lipunan. Ako po si Lito David, number 9. Ang ibig sabihin po ng number 9 biblically ay paghuhukom at katapusan, no? Judgment and finality. Kaya kung sa pagboto nyo po, yung number 9, huwag niyong kakalimutan. Judgment and finality.
Thank you, Lito. Brother Eddie?
Ito po si Brother Eddie Villanueva, the lone senatorial candidate ng Bangon Pilipinas Party at nakumbinsing tumakbo bilang alternative presidential candidate ng 2004-2010 ng Task Force Pagbabago Movement at ngayon po'y tumatakbo sa Senado upang dalhin ang politika, ekonomiya ng mga sagilid sa Senado. Huwag niyo kakalimutan yung tatlong malaking bills. Number 1, yung pagtatayo ng Multi-Billion People's Bank na magbibigay ng kalayaan sa mga biktima ng 5-6 usurious loan sharks interest rate na ginawa sa Thailand. Number 2, yung pong edukasyon para sa mga anak ng mga may hirap na below poverty line, dapat libreng edukasyon mula sa preschool hanggang koleyo. Ginagawa ito sa ibang bansa at ito'y tinakda rin ng United Nations through Millennium Development Goals na at least 6% of GDP must be allocated to education. Number 3 ay yung pong tinatawag nating international treaty ng Pilipinas with all foreign governments para matulungan naman natin ang mga 11 million OFWs maltreated, ina-abuse, ginagahasa at ang 5,000 nakakulong sa bilangguan sa ibang bansa, 300 under death penalty. Kaya po iyon ang tututukan ni Brother Eddie. Kay Brother Eddie po, huwag niyo kakalimutan, numero 31, para hindi makalimutan, ito'y araw ng grasya. Bakit? Araw to ng sweldo, araw ng sahod. Sabi nung iba, ito raw ay disgrasya sa mga may utang dahil pagbabayad ng utang. Pero pag si Brother Eddie po at kasama ko yung mga tinakda ng Diyos na matung sa Senado, bibilisan natin ang pagbubuo ng People's Bank, Multi-Billion People's Bank na magbibigay ng kalayaan sa tanikala ng utang sa mga sambayanan. Marami po salamat.
Salamat po, Brother Eddie. Thank you all for coming tonight. Mitos Magsaysay, Greco Belgica, Baldomero Falcone, Christian Senieres, Ramon Montaño, Ricardo Penson, Samson Alcantara, Marvil Llasos, JC de los Reyes, Lito David, Brother Eddie Villanueva. Thank you very much for being with us tonight, and thank you to you, our viewers, I'm Pia Hontiveros. See you next Wednesday for another News.PH election special, meeting the Avance with Team Pinoy senatorial candidates. Thank you. Good night.